Okay.
Is F5 if I'm not mistaken.
Можеш.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes,
Yeah.
really good.
Quite better.
All right. How many people, by the way, we expect to be here?
Daria? Maybe. Okay.
Do we expect a lot of people visiting us? You're on mute, Daria.
Yes, I'm here. So actually waiting for more people that we have right now. Maybe someone in process of joining our meeting. Actually registered at least 30 people, but previous speaker will have 47, 48
All right.
participants.
All right.
in the
We
meeting.
already got 26 people here, 27
Yeah.
person on here.
Maybe let's start, and I'll tell some useful information about SoftServe Academy and other people this time who join, and then share my voice with Vitaly. Okay, hi colleagues, hi dear participants of KPI Open Olympiad. I really pleased to see you this day and yesterday, of course, too. So my name is Roman, and together with Vitalii Shkvyra, our Associate Delivery Director in SoftServe, we're joined to tell you some insights, some useful information if you want to work as IT project manager. And of course, as I said it yesterday, our one of strategic targets in SoftServe company is development Ukrainian IT talents. And of course, we have vacancies for people, but not only vacancies, we also have a special structure like SoftServe Academy, which offer you courses, free certification to boost your hard skills and soft skills if you want to start your career and searching for possibilities to do this. So I'll put in our chat useful links about our company and about social media channels. And if you want to stay in touch with us, you could join these channels and search for our open facilities for your study and deployment. Okay, so maybe let's start, if Daria don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. Thanks, guys, for inviting me, and happy to be here. Hello, everyone. So we're gonna talk a bit about project management by project management in IT. If somebody thinks that there isn't any specifics, I would say there are a lot, and I'm going to talk about that as well. So I will just bring more light on the specifics of IT projects and management those within IT organizations. But generally, it's still project management. So we're going to talk a bit about management at all, styles, and as a bonus, I'm going to drop a couple of useful slides for you as well. I'm wondering if we're going to share the presentation slides after the webinar. If so, I will share it, and you will get all the references.
Yeah, we will share it on website of our Olympiad.
That's awesome. So let's get it started. Just a few words about myself. I'm delivery director at SoftServe. Happy to be here. Just recently celebrated first year of my anniversary with the company. But as I mentioned, so we are celebrating tomorrow 30 years, which is quite a long period and quite great journey of the company. So I'm over than 10 years in IT management, and more than predominantly my experience is laying down at project management. So I'm PMP certified active PMI Ukraine chapter member and volunteer, certified Scrum Master, authorized Agile instructor, and surprisingly, a couple of years ago, I was in top 5 IT project managers by Ukrainian IT Awards competition. So anyone, if you would like to continue the conversation, just ping me directly. Just add as a friend at Facebook or LinkedIn. You can find me, just type in the name. Just this is pretty much it, what I've got about myself. If you are interested to continue the conversation, so I'm your best friend. Talking about the exact stuff we're going to walk through. So the agenda is pretty simple. So we would like to get you familiar with some basic definitions. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the projects, IT project specifics, how to manage that and what the specifics are. Another piece of the materials about the leadership styles that we may observe across industry and everywhere, that different people uses different managerial styles. Also, as I promised, I will give you some set of the recommendations from my end that worked for me personally, and I do believe so that work for almost all of the people who are more or less connected to the industry. And at the very end, we're gonna have some Q&A session, like up to 10 minutes of your questions. If some questions won't be covered due to lack of time, I do believe that we will be able to compile them, and then we can issue some answers via chat if you have some communication channels on top of this one. All right. So what is management role? Referring to Wikipedia, we can find out that management is the administration of organizations, whether they are business or non-profit, it doesn't matter, or government. And I just selected in bold that management is the art and science of management resources of business. Also doesn't matter if we are talking about like physical resources, talking about money, talking about anything else, talking about people in a good meaning. So it is art of managing something. This is about management. So you just, as an orchestrator, need to manage a lot of different moving parts to get the project to the success. And what is project generally? The project definition is the following. So this is temporary, which is very important. It's temporary endeavor undertaken to create something unique, like product or service or some result, like experiment result, etc. So this is very important part of the project definition, because if we are talking about like constant work, repeatable work, like IT operations, etc., we can't say that they are pure projects. But if we are talking about creating something like a software or hardware or some experiment result, like a proof of concept on anything else, like MVP, we are talking about projects, because this is just limited with some time, with some, and it should deliver some certain result. So the nature of the projects, they are temporary, so it is not forever. Just you to understand the difference. And please don't mix the project and product life cycle. They are very different. We can have a number of projects within one product life cycle, and we can't have a couple of products within one project. If we're going to have a couple of products or services or something, we can consider that as a program if they are linked between each other. If they are not linked, we can consider that as a portfolio. I'm going to talk a bit about the difference between portfolio, program, and a project a bit later. I just prepared a separate slide for that. If we refer to project manager, this is the person that leads the project team that is responsible for achieving the project objectives. So this is the main goal of the project, or main goals, set of the goals of the project that we are obliged, the project team is obliged to deliver something. So, and to deliver and to meet these expectations, to deliver, to achieve these results is the main and ultimate goal of the project manager, because he is ultimately responsible to delivering that. Within the project lifecycle, the project manager is engaged and acts across different areas, doing a lot of stuff: communication, risk management, stakeholder management, reporting, different checks, a lot of stuff. So I just listed some essential basic activities or set of responsibilities that are connected to project manager, but just you to understand that this is the only person who is responsible for achieving the result. If we are talking about some cases when the project manager can't deal with something because lack of power or something, this person is responsible to escalate it. So you should understand before joining the profession that you're going to be the main person who's going to be responsible for everything. If we fail, that means that it is fail of a project manager, not of somebody else across the project team. So you are the main actor because you've got enough power to hire people, to drop people, to rotate them, to change anything, to communicate, to change the dates, deadlines, scope, you name it. A lot of power and a lot of responsibilities. So we figured out who is the project manager, and it doesn't matter which domain we are talking about. Would it be IT or construction or retail? Doesn't matter. The project manager is responsible for the same stuff. If we are talking about the difference between project, program, portfolio, this illustration is quite self-explanatory, but I'm going to walk you through it, just explaining a bit. The portfolio can include, it is the biggest, by the way, like object here, yeah, because portfolio can contain number of projects and number of programs, and they are not interrelated between each other. In example, program A1 and program A2, they are not connected between each other, and the projects within these programs also are not connected. If we are talking about program, it contains the number of projects that are interrelated between each other, because they support, every single project supports the goal, the objectives of program. Just giving you some examples of the program. Like I do believe some of you remember we hosted in 2012 we hosted Europe Championship, football championship of Europe, yeah, and we had a number of big projects like construction projects, like roads, stadiums, etc., marketing projects, etc., etc. We can consider that as a big program, which called like Euro 2012. And because the main goal was just to organize the set of events, to organize that huge event, huge competition during the entire month. Just giving you an example. But if you're talking about portfolio, the projects and programs could be consolidated by some criteria or not, but the objects inside, they are not interrelated between each other. So just to summarize, project is the smaller one, then you're going to have like program, and the biggest one is portfolio. And as a profession, and this is, by the way, could be a really great path, career path for any of you who are going to join like project management. You can start with project, then you can manage a couple of projects that are connected between each other, So you're going to be a program manager, and later on you can manage some portfolio. The scale is bigger and the complexity is higher. This is pretty much it about the difference between these objects. So I mentioned and promised you that I'm going to walk you through the main specifics, main differences that characterizes the IT projects. So we are talking about some bigger duration because very often, especially in IT outsourcing companies, we can name project as a just engagement with some client, and we can have a number of phases, because usually we support some product companies. Very often we support product companies. Let's imagine we have a product as Facebook as a product, and we support Facebook. Definitely this project is, I can't say this is very like limited with the timeline. We could rather have different phases of this project, and so we just support our client with the activities, with the expert services that are aiming to support this project. So if we are talking about IT projects, very often they are very a long journey if we're talking about the duration. But if we look better at that, definitely we're going to have some phases. We're going to have some like separated chunks of works that we can treat as separate projects. But usually, if we're going to talk about, we're going to talk with some colleagues about the life at IT company. So you're gonna hear something like, you know, so I worked for 5 years in a row at this project, which is not quite true, but you're gonna hear that. Another differentiator is that we always need to consider the site we are operating at. So if we are at the client side or we are at the service provider side, because the aims of the project for every party could be different, and the complexity, the specifics, the approaches, etc., also could be different. So if we are a service provider, a SoftServe, we're gonna treat the project from our angle. If we are talking about the client side, they look at the project, they approach the projects from the other side. I'm a happy person. I used to work at the client side and the service provider as well. Everywhere you could have some specifics, but it helps you to understand another party better and collaborate with that party much better. So also we may have different models talking about the ownership of the project, because if we just provide the right people within the engagement, within the project, we consider that client owns fully the delivery side. I mean, the client, and you may have like 2 project managers from both sides, from the client side and from service provider side, and the client side manager is responsible for the scope, schedule, and budget of that project, but you are responsible for the people that need to join and extend or something, sometimes just fulfill all the roles within the project team. You are responsible just providing some proper people who will be working well with the proper expertise. You're responsible for their motivation, communication, delivering results, but you are not responsible for the budget. You are not responsible for the timeline, and not responsible for the requirements and all that stuff. Also, we may have some shared ownership engagements, like we are responsible partially for some areas and the client is responsible for other areas. And we may have the projects, usually we are talking about fixed price projects, when we are responsible for everything that end to end. So as soon as we just pick that up, we are responsible to deliver within the budget, within the timeline, with the right quality, proper set of the quality, etc. More or less similar to that, because it sometimes characterizes the ownership level. If we're talking about the engagement model, so we could have dedicated team, we would just provide some people, experts for the client. We may talk about team extension, because dedicated team is just fully covers everything, all the roles across the project. If we are talking about team extension, we can provide some part of the team. Another part could be provided by another service provider, partner, or the client team. T&M, like time and material, because dedicated team and team extension, we are talking about like contracts that considers some monthly rates. If we are talking about time and material, we consider like billing for hours. And fixed bid, if we just define the project budget and we made an agreement that we will deliver everything within that budget. And sometimes we may have like transactional and outcome based. These engagement models are quite complex, and I won't walk you through them because I don't think this is the right time. I do believe that you're gonna get familiar with this type of engagements a bit later when you have like 3-5 years of experience. So also, IT world considers some on, off, and near shore. We are talking about like the physical locations of the exact staff, exact people who are gonna be a part of project team. Like onshore means that the people work in the same country as the client operates, like an example in the United States and European countries, because IT outsourcing in Ukraine predominantly focused on the Western companies and Western clients. Some nearshore means that it is very close to the border when the client is located, or we are talking about the same or very similar time zone, because time zone difference is also very interesting and very crucial point if we're talking about IT projects. Yeah, we have internet, we have a lot of communications tools, but that time difference really brings a lot of complexity to keep everything moving well, synchronized and aligned. And offshore, definitely, this is when we are talking about like far from the client and different time zone. Predominantly, we are operating in this offshore. And how it works is that, in example, we have 8 or 7 hours difference between the US and Ukraine, and we just shift a bit working hours. In example, I start my working day not at 8 a.m., but I start at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. just to be able to shift the hours and to have a bigger overlap, just to synchronize with that part of the team that is located in the US. But just please expect that everywhere you will have this time difference, and you should consider that. And also, you should consider a multicultural environment, because within one project, you may have people from the US, Canada, China, India, Ukraine, Poland, Spain, you name it. Just giving you a couple of examples. I remember some periods in my career when I had a call from the client from New Zealand, starting at 7 a.m. in the morning. And the latest call was with the US, with California, which is like 10 hours difference. You may have this call like closer to the midnight, which means that you predominantly available 24/7. On the other hand, it may lead you to the flexible hours, like at the in the middle of working day, you may have like 2-3 hours just, I don't know, to manage your personal stuff, etc. So we are flexible and expect that you will be you will be asked for some flexibility hours as well. Definitely, we try to stick to the fixed shift hours, like from 10 to 7. But from times to times we may have these requests. Another example was like one of the projects when There were people from China, from Canada, from Ukraine, from the US, and the overlap between all these countries, just if we consider working hours, was just 2 hours. So the entire team had only 2 hours to work together. The rest of the time they were off during the working day. All right, moving forward. This is a bit fancy slides, but I do believe you already heard something about some holy wars between people who agree or disagree. Should project manager in IT have technical skills or shouldn't have, or is it must or it is not must? And I don't think that I will convince you just in something, yes or not, but I'm going to provide you a very, very recent example that happened with me last week. I jumped into the call with the new client to talk about the requirements for software engineers. The skill set, the experience, the technologies, how deep any person should understand those technologies, the specifics of works, etc., etc. We were talking about full stack developers, which considers like front end and back end. And the guy who was supposed to support me during that call, application architect, surprisingly didn't join the call, and it was late, like 22 or 23, closer to midnight, like our time, because the client is located in California. And fortunately, I had some experience in technologies, and I just talked for 30 minutes with the client lead to understand the requirements, to write them down, and to make up the profile, just to be able to find right people who are going to join the project. If I couldn't have any technical background, I hardly can cover that kind of call, you know. So, and this is the answer. So if you have it, it's good. If you don't have, it is not a catastrophe, but please work on it. Please understand the basics of the technologies that you are touching, and you should talk the same language with your team, because this is also a source of power of project manager. If you understand the pain points of your team, you understand the kitchen, let's say that, you are very, very respectful person. All right. Then moving to the leadership styles. It is not a secret that we have different leadership styles. I will not read all the definitions here, but you will be able to walk through it. I just wanted to let you know that managers are very different. They may be authoritative, they may be consultative, they can be collaborative, etc. Moreover, any manager can combine different styles within one person, but you should understand your own style, your own specific of the leader, and how you may do that. I can just advise to follow the link under this QR code. You will have the possibility just to scroll down, and it's free of charge. You will be able to walk through the test that will give you a good analytics and very insightful information regarding your profile. And you're going to have the report on your email that will give you an understanding what kind of leader you are and what areas are developed well, what are not. And then based on that, you may have like a professional development plan that will help you to get to the job of your dream. Another bonus slide is that set of recommendations, books, articles, courses, certifications, channels, podcasts. So you will have it as well after the call. So just understand your dream of your job, then evaluate yourself, define the gaps, prepare your plan, and follow the plan, and you will be there. This is pretty much it what I had. I see that we are running out of time. Sorry about that. I took a lot as usual. or no, we just started at 12:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have more than
we
so.
have half an hour.
All right. We have more time, but I covered everything that I wanted to cover, and I do believe that we may have some Q&A session. We can extend that, and after that, if we will have time, I can walk you through the set of the recommendations as well, just explaining better what they can bring to you.
Okay, so friends, it's a good time for questions, and for the best question on Vitalii mind, we will send one extra present from SoftServe company, so you are welcome to ask everything you want to know about this topic. You could print in chat or just raise your hand and tell your question.
Don't be shy. Get the
That was
present
my-
from SoftServe.
That was my fault. I just was a bit in a hurry, just looking at the watches, like, oh, I've got only 5 minutes left. I've got only 3 minutes left, etc. I just was speeding up, but surprisingly, we're gonna have more time. And if you guys don't have the questions on top of your mind yet, but please think about them, I probably need to get back a bit and walk you more thoroughly and through the essential leadership styles. Yeah, I wanted to do that, but
I have one question.
Go ahead.
On your mind, in SoftServe, which leadership styles dominates maybe in colleagues management?
Definitely, we are not authoritative. We are very Western-minded company. We are very democratic, I would say. We are not laissez-faire because everyone in SoftServe is a hard worker. Yeah. Sometimes we consultative very often. So we are laying here in these three dimensions, like consultative, democratic, and collaborative.
Thank you.
But sometimes we need to be authoritative when we are talking about some crises at the project. Sometimes it's unavoidable stuff. Like it doesn't matter who messed up, you or client, you need to get the project back on track. And this is the only case when you should be authoritative, if we are talking about IT projects, especially because if we are talking about some construction, you may understand that managers, they are more authoritative and directive rather than in IT. IT world is more about democratic democracy, more about like teamwork, collaboration, and you should let your people also decide and make a vote, and everyone's voice matters. But when your project is not in a good shape, you're far away from the goals and you're way behind of schedule, you need to be a bit or more or less authoritative depending on the deviation of the project timeline. You need to be authoritative, just directing people without any alternatives, like if we need to do this and that by that time, checked. If it's completed, then we are moving forward. Sometimes you need to be authoritative, and you need to change the styles. Later on, you will understand, when you will have like 3+ years of experience, you will understand the much better what I'm talking about when I talk about the different styles combination within one person, because we hardly can say that this particular person is 100% authoritative. Sometimes the same person could be collaborative, could be consultative or laissez-faire. It really matters. It really depends on the exact project, exact time frame, and the exact person you deal with. Because with the persons who are just making some first steps in the career, like junior engineers, you should be probably more like consultative, authoritative, because you hardly can let those people do what they want to do because they don't have a clue what to do exactly at the project. You need to navigate them. If we are talking about really mature people who have as a lot of experiences you have, like 10, 15 years, if we are talking about some architects, you should be more democratic, you should be like more consultative, just letting those people do what they can do much better than you can, because they are engineers and you can't compete with them at their playground. If they write the code for 10 years plus day by day, but you managing people 10 years every day. So I don't think you is as well at engineering and as they are. Collaborative style is one of the most in demand, I would say, in our area, in our field. Democratic, consultative, but sometimes we need to be persuasive because some people need to be led by somebody. And if we are talking about like visionaries, like Elon Musk, they persuade people to follow their dreams, and we may observe that they follow. And I don't think that everyone in SpaceX or Tesla or any other companies that are led by Elon Musk, they are there just because of like good salary or something. They are there because they believe in those ideas, because this guy can persuade people that this idea can change the world. So a few words about the styles. Later on, I just
Vitaly, we
yeah.
have one question in chat.
Regarding this previous slide or just overall?
No, not about.
In chat. What is the average salary of a project manager with such experience as you have in Ukraine and in the USA? Salary is very
but Roman
important
just
question.
great things, the great minds think alike. So Roman just dropped a very useful link. You can follow there, and you may find different salary ranges depending on the field, depending on the experience, the location, etc. So you can refer there. And I don't think that I'm the best example because I'm just a bit at a different role than project manager. So, and the market is being changed depending on the situation across the globe regarding the situation in Ukraine. So the salaries are being changed as well. Means that you may find the most recent information because it's based not only on my experience and my observations, it's based on the very big representative set of data. So the most actual information is here. Just follow the link.
Thank you.
Was that the only question that we had so far?
For this time, yes.
Are you guys interested to hear something else on top of you just been told? All right. All right. Let's then move at this slide, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to make a photo of this, or just to turn on your camera and follow the link. You need to scroll down a bit to the gray button that's named like test yourself or something, and only then you will be able to just to answer the set of the questions that will give you the information, very insightful information about your skill set, how you are developed, which areas are developed more, which areas you need to develop. And this is a really great tool. I very recommend that.
Also, I can share this link in our Zoom chat.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
And we have one more question.
Yeah, I
from
see. I see
Andy.
that. What is the most difficult thing for you in your work? I've got an answer for you guys. You may be surprised is that the most difficult stuff we are dealing with as managers are people. So this is the most complex stuff because every single person is very different. It's the separate world, the entire world. You need to understand that world. You need to feel the pain. You need to be empathetic. You need to talk a lot. You need to get into the shoes of that person, just to understand it better. You need to motivate. You need to get the result, and you need to keep in touch with everyone, not violating the boundaries, professional boundaries. At the same time, you need to get those people motivated, you need to get the trust of those people, and you need, as a project manager, to achieve the result of the project. So, which is quite not trivial task to complete, yeah. This is the most difficult area in our work, because if you're talking about technologies, if you're talking about any tools, processes, it's much easier to develop, to learn. But if you're talking about people, it's a very big challenge. Do you need to study in university to become a project manager? Giving you an example, just my personal example. I have graduated from Zhytomyr Polytechnical University, and my profession was an engineer. I just supposed to program some processors and other stuff, but here I am. So I'm a manager, and it is not necessary. I would say that the education nowadays is very different that we thought before. Like, you need to develop certain areas, certain skill sets. You need to learn certain tools rather than just apply to the university, graduate from there like in 5 years, and then you're not going to be a completed expert, and you're not going to be ready to deliver some really serious job. So which means that you need to learn the entire life just to be to get to have some actual skill set. As you say, you work with people from different countries. Which countries are the easiest to work with, and which are the hardest to work with? This is also a very tricky question, because if you work with the people from the UK, they're very nice, they are polite, and they never or almost never say to you that so we're gonna stop the collaboration or something, or it will not work for us, or you don't work well, or your team don't work well, etc. They are very polite, and they may say, I don't think that it is the best way, or I am not certain in that, which means the person says, you need to bring another idea, because this one is a bullshit. Americans predominantly, but it very depends on the exact state you work with, can say directly, this is not going to be a good plan for us, let's find another way, or you need to stay longer today to deliver this and that. So the easiest probably to work with the people from Ukraine, because we understand them better. So we are living in the same country, we are the same, we are the same nation, yeah. And talking about, and this is also one of the key success factors why Ukrainian IT outsourcing is successful and successfully collaborate with the US predominantly, because we have a lot of similarities. I just had a chance to walk through different statistics that we have a lot of in common between Americans and Ukrainians. The most difficult, probably the Eastern world, like I don't know, Arabic countries or Japan, Asian countries. But just for me personally, because I had less experience working with those countries, with those cultures. So it really depends on your experience, because every single country, every single culture you learn, you understand much better. What we do is that if we have a lot of people from country X, let's say from, we just have a lot of offices in Latin America, we try to learn that country, that culture, to understand the people better. Anything else? So does this mean that the culture difference sometimes affect the work even more than level of knowledge? Sometimes, yeah, that could definitely may bring some complexity, and brings complexity, and even in communication, even in the understanding of what exactly should be done, or when it should be done, etc. So definitely it brings complexity, and you need to understand the culture while you're working with this or that country. Otherwise, you will have more reasons to fail the project. Level of knowledge also affects, but you know, you need to catch up everything, because if you don't know the particular technology that project is based on, but you know well the culture of the people who are presented in the project team, you barely can deliver that work. And vice versa. If you don't know the culture, but you know only technologies, you can't communicate with those people, you hardly can achieve a good result. It really depends on the exact level of knowledge, or knowing the exact culture you have. But as I mentioned, you need to learn something new every single day. Any other questions? We've got 12 minutes more. All right, feel free, if we won't have any other questions, just feel free to pin me in direct at Facebook or LinkedIn, and I will cover the questions. You probably can't share something very personal, or I don't know, or I covered everything, or you are not interested. I can't tell that exactly, but just if you have something, don't hesitate to ask these questions.
And if you have a really big question, you could also use your microphone and tell it for us on the system version if you want. Okay,
So
I see.
I suppose everything is clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I just wanted probably to draw your attention at the set of the materials I prepared to you. So definitely, from some time when you have like up to 3 years of the experience, PM book is your best friend. It's a huge book that you need to walk through, and every couple of years they issue another edition of PM book. That means like project management body of knowledge. It is not PM book or something. And this is the set of standards of project management at all, not only in IT, but the context here is that if you have a PMP certification, you can deliver the project within big budget, like $10 million or something, and which means that you can manage the project with which aims to build an airport, international airport, an example, or big stadium or something. So just imagine the scale. People whereby Tom DeMarco and Timothy Lister is one of the best sellers, regardless the century or not century, the decade. Yeah, Sprint by Google as well. The Work Smarter and Shoe Dog. This is my personal one. It's just written by Phil Knight, which is who is the owner and creator of Nike brand. Also may give you a lot of insights how to attack the challenges, how to develop your career, how to develop your brand. So a set of articles also could be very insightful for you. I just gathered the articles that will help you to understand the profession better, the skill set you need to have, and courses, certifications, agile leadership. I see Agile Fundamentals as one of the most basic ones that I very recommend to work through, and PMP exam preparation. This is something that you need to learn a bit later when you already have a couple of years of experience. Some YouTube channels and podcasts I very recommend to subscribe and listen and watch them frequently. It will help you to develop the career, to understand the specifics of the industry, of the profession, and will be like having actual information every day. All right, so that seems to be it. I would say thank you. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Last chance to ask questions. If not, I will pass the ball to Roman and he will tell us what should we do next, or we need to drop from this call or something.
Yes, thank you, Vitaly. It was really great and useful presentation for our listeners, for me also. So one more good moment. I want to ask you, what is the most interesting question was today?
All right, let me check what we've got for today. So we just had a couple of questions here from Andrew. What most difficult? Do you need university to become decided people? You know, I just wanted to emphasize that the first question, what is the most difficult thing for you in your work, it looks very simple. On the other hand, it's a very good question because you can uncover a lot of stuff answering this question. So I do believe that Andrei deserves a prize. If you have something to be presented, you can do that. Please, Roman, go ahead.
Yes, my congratulations for Andrew, and my Telegram link in the Zoom chat. So Andrew, please text me in Telegram and we will discuss how I can give you your present.
Awesome. Andrei, thank you for your question. It's very good question. Thanks you. All the questions were good, but I expected a lot of more questions. Next time, guys, when you will have a chance to talk to anyone, to listen to anyone, doesn't matter the company. If you see the person with the experience that may be relevant to you, just to develop your career, don't be humble. Ask a lot of questions. There are no stupid questions at all. All the questions are right, and all the questions are good.
Thank you so much, Vitaly, and thank you for organizing this KPI 2023. Daria.
Thank you for participation. We are really pleased with such presentation and opportunity to listen to you, to find out many interesting things about your experience at project management. I'm not the IT person, but it was very interesting. I have a colleague, she is interested in this sphere, and many things that she has said to me before were here in this presentation. Yeah.
Awesome. My pleasure. Happy to be here. As mentioned, welcome, guys. Wishing you a great rest of the week, great weekend ahead.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Take care.
And have a good day. Bye.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.